I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delving into Dr. Frank Springob's groundbreaking book called Testing the Human Biofield. This fascinating work explores the innovative techniques developed to read and expand the human body's energy field, offering new insights into health and wellness. Join us as we uncover the secrets behind biofield testing and the potential it holds for transforming how we understand and improve our well-being. We're delighted to have this very talented author and doctor join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Bookside Press for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below the interview. Doctor, so good to see you here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you so much, Logan. Good to see you.
Want to ask you first and foremost, what is the human biofield? Could you explain a little bit about it and why it's so significant in health testing?
Well, the name human biofield was given to it by researchers primarily. We called it the morphogenic field when we discovered how to use it in our office. And it's not unlike what people think of as your aura or your chi or your life force. I mean, there's different names that are given to it. But we call it the morphogenic field because morphogenesis is change. You know, you're starting a process of change in the body. And everybody's got this field of energy around their body, and bigger is always better. So if you've got a very small field, you're usually pretty challenged in your health issues. And people who are very healthy and have a big field, they go hand in hand. One equals the other, essentially.
Did you first come across the idea of testing the human biofield?
Well, honestly, it wasn't my idea. I had a receptionist that I mentioned in the book who was going through nutritional therapy school, and she had learned that the body starts at the cellular level, and then the cells make the tissues make the organs, and then you have the organ systems, and then us, the organism. And we were doing a form of muscle response testing back in the day where we're testing acupuncture points essentially of organs. And so she made a brilliant observation that maybe if you went back and could figure out how to communicate with the cells, you could go 2 steps earlier and catch things at an earlier stage. And so I thought, well, that's brilliant, but how are you going to do that? And then the rest of the journey has been about figuring out how to do that. And so we've come a long way. We went from to testing cell energies. We now can even go deeper. We can go down subcellular and look at things like mitochondria and chromosomes and nucleotides and things in the subcellular level. So, which makes the testing more specific and more accurate. So, therefore, our solutions also become more specific and more accurate.
Is this an innovative approach that is novel to you, or are more and more doctors approaching these tests as well?
Well, they weren't doing a lot of research on the biofield when I started, and so we called it morphogenic field because that's what I was trying to initiate change, right? That's what that word means. But then the research, as they started researching my stuff at Stills University in Missouri, the research paper that came out of it was talking about the human biofield. And so that's where the researchers were going. There were other people looking at it by that time. And so I thought, well, let's just call our cellular technique morphogenic field technique, and then the things we do subcellular and anything else we do in the field, we can call it just biofield testing because that's the one constant. We're always getting information from the field, no matter what you call it. So I thought that was appropriate. My business partner, Kelly Miller, she agreed to it, and that's how we changed the name. But yeah, we're not the only people who know about it, but
Right.
we're probably the only people who have a very systematic approach to communicating with it.
Yeah. What were the biggest challenges you faced while developing these biofield testing procedures?
Just figuring out how to do the communication. So we used to just use acupuncture points. We'd touch acupuncture points, but when we started using cell energies, if we found that we couldn't get the cell energy to the body, then it would react a space away, a foot away or 2 feet away. And so we knew we were dealing with something that was outside the body and not within the body. And that's how we started looking more into the different things that can cause those kind of energy reactions in the body. So we've looked at, of course, the spine and the nervous system, but we've also looked at things like neuropeptides, which Dr. Candace Pert called the molecules of emotion, and also biophotons, which is an incredibly complicated way that the body communicates with the cells. So the cells know if there's one in your foot and wants to communicate with the hairs on your head, it is a possibility, and it does that. So you could guess that from a very just trying to figure out how to get the information energetically is really the only way you're going to be able to do it. You're not going to get it off a blood test, or you're not going to get it by doing a physical exam. You have to get to the energy level to get it accomplished.
Let's talk about energenomics and the role it plays in biofield testing.
Okay, well, that energenomics was a name that I gave to the subcellular segment when you got down to the cell nucleus and below that. So the nucleus contains many things. It contains the genes and the chromosomes and the DNA, and then the DNA are strands of nucleotides. So, I mean, you're getting down into trillions and trillions of different little pieces. And when you're dealing at that kind of a level of information, you have to figure out how you're going to communicate with those little bitty pieces. And so we developed energies that the body would be interested in if there was a problem at that level. So, for example, we have a kit called problematic genes. And so these are the genes that keep showing up in different disease processes that nobody really knows what to do with, but they realize they're a problem. So we can test the energies of those things, and the body will want to only talk about the things that are problematic. So if the body says, oh, hey, I want to talk about that one, that's the one you pay attention to. And then we look to find different solutions that will neutralize that and shut that off. And so I really like that part of it because we can get so deep into the conversation with the body.
What does it mean for folks who are looking to improve their health and wellness?
Well, we need to get more practitioners before we can get too many people thinking about that.
Yeah.
So when, in promoting the book, I've been asked about, well, we want to get a big audience to read the book. Well, do you really? Because how are you going to if you do that and people realize there's another totally different way to look at health and they have a health issue, they're naturally going to want to pile onto that. And we don't really have enough trained practitioners to fulfill that need. So that's really what the book is about. The book is about how are we going to get the healers with I call it the heart of the healer, the people who are really passionate about health, and not necessarily what the pharmaceutical industry is pushing, but what actually will bring about health. And health starts at the very small pieces of the body and builds on that. So trying to discover those small pieces, trying to discover how to optimize those small pieces, which will build on the cells, which will build on the tissues, the organs, the organ systems. And that's how you get a healthy body in the end, is you start with the smallest part.
Now, this biofield testing will give you indications as to what areas of the body are functioning well and perhaps not functioning up to par. And then you can intervene. Tell us a little bit about what you do with the information once you have it. And another question, I'll give you a compound question here. Is this aura or biofield generally stronger in younger people and weaker in older people?
Well, the biofields has a job, and the job ties in with the research of Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is, they call him the father of epigenetics. Now, the word epigenetics means above genetics. So even though, like when we were kids and nobody thought about anything beyond genetics, they now know that the environment is the biggest influencer of how the genes express. And so that's what's really fascinating about it, is it ties in exactly with what Bruce Lipton was talking about: control your genetic expression by controlling your environment. And serendipitously, the field's job is to read the environment. So you bring in a bad environment, it's going to naturally shrink the field. But when you address whatever the concerns are of the field, it gets to just expand back out and grow. And then you can just watch the person change. And the research that we've done has been 100% correlation between improved autonomic nervous system efficiency and heart rate variability as you grow and expand and balance the biofield.
Yeah. And age, is that a factor? Are we seeing
Well, it's easier to fix somebody younger, but there's a lot of kids nowadays, unfortunately, who don't really know what real food is. I mean,
yeah,
food has changed, and we're dealing with Monsanto's idea of food instead of God's idea of food, and they're
right.
totally different, right?
Yeah.
So in nature, if food used to be called food, and now commercial food is called food, and real food is called organic food.
Hmm.
So it's been distorted by years and years of them telling the story that they want us to hear. Right? So it's very distressing for me because I'm getting on and, I've got kids and I've got grandkids and I think about what's going to happen with the next generation and finding people who hear this message and have a practical way to improve the people that they test and treat. And then it can grow in that way, and it's got to grow in that way because our path we're on now is very dangerous, I think.
Exactly. Got to get off that Monsanto food fast. That's for sure. The doctor has put forth a groundbreaking book. It is called Testing the Human Biofield. It is a fascinating work that explores the innovative techniques developed to read and expand the body's energy field, offering new insights into health and wellness. It's a terrific book. It's a terrific read. It's a terrific field of endeavor to understand the machinations of the body better and this emerging science of biofield. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate your
Good to be
time,
here.
sir. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.